Great having you back for Devos today. And all this week, we're looking here at faith on fire, how faith really works. So I'm not talking to you about like the real big things, because let me just tell you, you will never get to the big things unless you take care of the little things. So let's talk about the little things when it comes to our finances. And again, small things count. How you do with the little things is how you're going to deal with everything. So let's look in Proverbs 22, verse 7. He says, the rich will rule over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. Oh, isn't that true? You can find that when you run your credit cards up. When you get into so much debt that each month you're just like squeaking by, all of a sudden you're in this very oppressive type of state where you're under control. It's important when you don't have hardly any money. What you do with the little bit of money that you have, it's going to determine when you have a lot more money. Do you remember years ago? We lived a different life. I remember years ago, I didn't even know anyone who owned a credit card. This is for real. Okay, so if you wanted to buy something at the store and you didn't have the money, okay, we did it the right way. You go buy the pants, and they put it on layaway. Some of you might remember this. Okay, so then every time you'd go to the store, you put a little more money on there. But you didn't get your pants, you didn't get your clothes until you paid for them. And there was no interest. Now, somebody like in my case, I mean, you'd buy those pants, and then you'd grow up watching them grow out of style because you couldn't get paid on time. 10 years later, you go and pick up your bell-bottom pants. And so it's kind of sad, but, okay, John D. Rockefeller was once asked, when will you be satisfied with enough money? And he said, when I have just a little bit more. I talked about more this last weekend. We just want more. Now look with me in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. He said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Some people are eager for money. They have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. You know what's really sad when it comes to giving unto God? More money people make, less of a percentage they give unto God, because they get greedy. But you see, in most cases, they weren't giving when they were making much less also. So how you deal with the little bit of money you might have right now is going to determine what you're going to do when you're making a lot more money in the future. Now look with me in Acts chapter 20, verse 35. He says, in everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, that we must help the weak. Now notice what happens with a lot of people as they're going along in life and they're doing better. They don't want to help the weak. They actually kind of look down on them. They want to, impress their peers. It says, remembering the words of the Lord Jesus himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Boy, isn't that true? Did you ever see a little kid when they're starting to give gifts and how excited they are to be able to give their parents or someone a gift? But not all people feel that way. One missionary was teaching men that he had won to Christ out there in the jungles. And there's one man by the name of Pablo. He asked Pablo, the missionary, he asked him, he said, Pablo, if you had 2 pigs, would you give one of the pigs to God? And Pablo says, that's not fair, because you know that I have 2 pigs. Okay, when things are personalized with us when it comes to giving, then it becomes another story. Listen, if you never do the little things right, you'll never do the big things right. So what faith begins is this: the little resources that God has given you, you want to put him number one. When you have a little extra, you want to share that with others that are around you, and God's blessings will be upon you for that.